And cyber psychologist Nirali Bhatia now joins us on the phone line. Nirali, of all the chats that we've been able to access in the last few days, what is your sense of it? Um, she was definitely confiding in her friends, especially this
Right.
chat on the murder day, where she says, I have news, and then she says, I got busy with something. And of course, we know what happened 2 hours after that, but what was really happening on the last day? What was her state of mind?
Well, see, honestly, in the cyber world, it is very difficult to gauge the intent from the texting. You know, when you're talking to someone, from the tone of the voice, you can at least gauge their intent, whether they're happy, they're sad, whether they're excited to share or what it is. But when it is texting, you really cannot hear any kind of, non-verbal communication behind that. So it's very difficult to say. It's even difficult to establish that was it she who was actually messaging. So every person has a style of texting as well, and I'm sure that the forensics teams can establish that whether it was her way of texting or whether it was somebody else who was impersonating her. So there are many angles to this. But if we have to look at it in a way, if you telling me the texts are all half read, like okay, she wants to say something and then she is again disappearing, then she is sounding busy. So it's like a very fragmented mindset. Too many things happening, not very sure, not very focused. It could be out of excitement, it could be out of fear, either of the extremities.
But one thing is for sure, Nirali, that she was confiding in her friends. She was telling them that she was in an abusive relationship, a very toxic relationship, of
Right.
how he would not just go outright against her dignity, but also the very fact that many a times when she wanted to come out of this relationship, he would emotionally blackmail her and bring her back in. And then they had a relationship for a fair period. They lived in together. To imagine an end like this, as much as the friends were aware and they had warned him also to back off, to not behave with her the way he was. And she also somewhere understood the depth of it because she did express that she feared for her life. She had confided in her friends that he could kill me.
Right.
What was really
So,
going on her mind? Why was she
you
in
know,
this relationship? What could have happened that led to this kind of an end? What was Aftab's bent of mind?
Right. So, this is very typical of a domestic violent abuser. In most of the domestic violence abuse, and violence does not necessarily mean physical, it's also emotional, it's also verbal, it's all forms. Most of the cases, where we see that the abusers are very good in pacifying, and they make the victims believe that at the end of it, it's the love that matters. Even if I am very mean to you, I am abusive to you, and they may just put up a show of, like, hey, I'm sorry, I could not control my temperament, etc., but I love you. That's the kind of portrayal that these domestic violence abuse cases usually we have seen, where the victims are most of the time made to believe that, well, everything comes at a cost, and this is the cost of love. And that's why they continue in these kind of relationships without knowing that this is not okay or this is not normal. And unfortunately, somewhere we as a society have also normalized these kind of behaviors in relationship, where we, always end up telling our friends, हाँ ये तो होता रहता है. This is very common in marriages. You will have these kind of differences. And these are the mindsets that, stop people from taking action or taking a stand against it. And they continue in these kind of toxic relationships.
Absolutely. I want to thank you, Nirali, for speaking to Republic this afternoon. And we are trying to access more details of chats, of who all she was in touch with, and anything that gives us more leads in this case. For the moment, thank you.